What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with another ranking video. We're going to predict the top five top five power forwards for the 2020-21 season. This was a little tougher because a lot of these guys are debatable. A lot of these guys have different play styles and different type of impact. And a lot of the guys that's beneath him, I can easily see them having bounce back seasons or better. But I only can pick five that can be in my top five. And I'm going to tell you on my honorable mentions. You obviously have Kevin Love. You obviously have Blake Griffin, who I don't finally miss the list. LaMarcus Aldridge, I do not have him. Zion, I still feel like he's going to be one of the better players, but not top five this season. And you also have a plethora of power forwards like Draymond Green and those type of guys also that normally would be on this list but are not. So those are a lot of veterans and former all-stars and all NBA players that is not even in the top five because new guys are either in or guys switch positions that push them down and completely out of this list, but they still will be respectable or in the conversation, and that's why I have them as honorable mentions. Number five, Pascal Siakam. Pascal showed that he can be a great regular season player, and people will call me crazy for having him over all these other guys. But he has shown that he is probably a better defender than all of them except Draymond Green. And he also is a 20-point scorer and a guy that can rebound pretty well for his position. And even though he did decline as the season continued to go on, he still was an All NBA player and an All Star starter in the Eastern Conference. And even though he didn't play well in the bubble, he has shown throughout his career that he is willing to put the work in to be where he needs to be. And that's why he has achieved and become what he is now as one of the best players in the league. Now, I know he has something to prove because he did play that bad in the bubble, but even though he did the same thing 2 years ago with Kawhi Leonard, he still was able to bounce back and still have the All NBA season that he had this year, which is very impressive for a guy that has never been the guy and was built to become the guy. And he was able to help the Raptors become one of the best teams in the NBA this current season. So to me, I am interested in seeing what he chooses to improve on, whether it's his 3-point shot, whether it's scoring off the dribble, or just being more consistent throughout the whole entire season and being even better in the playoffs. But I think Pascal Siakam has done enough to be number five. Number four, Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum to me was better than Siakam because he was able to dominate and be able to put him out of the playoffs last season, and getting to the Eastern Conference Final where they will eventually lose to Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Tatum has still had inconsistencies with his shooting, has questionable shot selection, is a solid defender for his position, is a guy that could heat up and take over games, especially if his 3-point shot is going. We was able to see a lot of that when Kemba and them went down, and Tatum going on that run helped him become an all NBA player for the first time in his career. I'm looking forward to seeing him doing it again and being able to solidify himself as one of the elite players in the league, as I am a Celtics fan, and that's what we will need him to be if we're going to win a title, because he's going to be making almost 200 million because of his contract extension, and he has to raise and play at a better level if he's going to help us get over the hump and get back to the NBA Finals. This is our franchise cornerstone. This is our superstar. And this is the guy that we're banking on to get us a title. And hopefully he can continue to grow and improve like he has basically did throughout his career. And he did step up a little bit in the playoffs. Still had the inconsistencies, but he is young, not even 25 yet. And he has a huge amount of upside. But he also has shown that he is one of the best players at his position and in the NBA last season, and now we just want to see him build upon that this season. Next, Kevin Durant. I have him third because he still do look a little rusty, and we still have to see him play an entire season, which he has had nagging injuries and major injuries, and he will be called and relied on to do a lot for this Brooklyn Nets team because I don't really think they're that deep. when it comes to players that can really do things on their own. They do have Dinwiddie, they do have LeVert, but that's really about it outside of Kyrie, in my personal opinion. And Kevin Durant is going to have to raise his game if they want to become an elite team in the NBA. He felt like him and Kyrie can do some damage in the league, and Kevin Durant didn't look that bad to me in preseason. But we still have to factor in he's coming off a major injury, and his efficiency will take a shot, and his season might not start off as the greatest as he usually does, because he has to get adjusted, he has to knock off the rust, and he has to continue to play games if he wants to be that dominant Kevin Durant that we seen before he went down with the injury. But that takes time, and that takes patience, and that takes growing pains, and he's going to have to go through all that to become the number one power forward in the future. But he's not now, because there's two other guys that have done it the last 2 seasons and has grown and has improved and has done a lot too in the Eastern and Western Conference. And number two is Giannis. I feel like Giannis was the Defensive Player of the Year and MVP to a lot of people. Matter of fact, back-to-back MVP, back-to-back number one record in the NBA, which is crazy for him to be able to do that, not once, but twice. He is a great defender, a great rotational defender, switchable defender, great rim protector, great rebounder, a guy that can really dominate in transition, and a guy that can create for his teammates and handle a little bit. He is still missing that three-point shot and that consistent pull-up jumper, which will eventually take his game to the next level, but he hasn't been able to do it just yet. But other than that, Giannis is pretty much one of the most dominant players, being able to average 29 points per game while not playing that many minutes, and he was still able to do that throughout the whole entire season. The Achilles heel for Giannis is not just his shooting, it's his playoff performance. He disappears and he continues to falter when it matters most. And that sucks when you're the highest paid player in the league and you're the reigning two-time MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Eventually, he's going to have to get that monkey off his back, or he's going to get crucified by Milwaukee and the people for not delivering after getting a significant amount of money with this contract, which adds his own pressure. But Giannis has shown that he can grow and develop every single year, and he's going to have to do that again. And he did lose his throne because of his playoff performance and his inconsistencies throughout the regular season when it was ending and throughout the playoffs. And if Giannis wants to reclaim that throne, he's going to have to do it again this year, but also show up more in the playoffs, which we still have question marks if he can do that. And that's the unfortunate part, because other than that, we have no knock on Giannis, because he did everything else besides do it in the playoffs. He did get to the Eastern Conference Finals. He did have a chance to go to the finals, but he hasn't got it done just yet, which is something that he's going to eventually have to do, since he is the best player on this team and he is the highest paid player in the league. So we're going to be interested to see what he's going to do, and he's going to have to, shut up a lot of doubters and haters, because they're going to continue to pile up until he does it, which we will have to wait and see if he does. Number one, Anthony Davis. This was pretty easy, as he, to me, never really had the talent that Giannis and these guys have had when he was in the Western Conference, and he did get to the playoffs, and he did get out of the first round, and he did put up dominant numbers, and he only lost to the Golden State Warriors when he was in the playoffs in the West. And once he got him an adequate teammate in LeBron James, he was dominant in the playoffs, in the regular season, and on the defensive end. And he was also dominant in the NBA Finals, especially in the beginning. And then he got into foul trouble, and he probably could have won the Finals MVP over LeBron James, which sounds crazy and stupid, but it was actually reality. That's how good Anthony Davis is. The efficiency is there, the mid-range is there, the handle is there, the rebounds is there, the defense is there. The only problem with him is being a consistent three-point shooter. And if he's able to do that, which we've seen him hit game winners, and we've seen what he was doing in preseason, that will be the missing piece to making him basically unguardable and unstoppable in the NBA, which is funny, because this was a guy that was averaging 28 points per game as a power forward not that long ago. And You know, he was doing that in New Orleans, and he averaged 30 points per game against the Golden State Warriors when he went to the playoffs the first time, and that was one of the best defensive teams in the league, if not, and he was able to obliterate them. So Anthony Davis don't have too many holes in his game, don't really have too many questions now that he's a champion. Biggest question for him is, can he be the best player on the championship team? That's it, because everything else he has done. And I do have him winning Defensive Player of the Year this season for the Los Angeles Lakers. So that's another thing that he has to do. And I think he gets it done this year. And now we just going to have to see, can he lead the team to a title in the future or this season and become a finals MVP. And if he's able to do that, he will check all boxes and become one of the greatest players to ever do it, which you can already say he's one of the top 100 because he already has a lot of awards and a lot of regular season success when it comes to, you know, the All-Star games, all NBA team, all defensive teams, and he's still not even 30, so he can pile more of those up if he doesn't have a major injury. Other than that, check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. You can check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. That'll also be in the description and comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. If for everybody likes on Facebook, you can also buy merchandise that's exclusively on my Facebook page. You can change the color of the hat, change the color of the shirt, customize it the way you want to. Message me, I can get it shipped out to you. You can also buy exclusive merchandise that's only on my spread shirt. That will be in the description in the comment section below. Thanks for everybody that supports that. Other than that, if you want to support the channel without buying merchandise, that's fine too. Liking and sharing allows this channel to get more views because it reaches more people. The more people that see it, the better for me, and the more subscribers I can get. So do that if you choose to. Also, feel free to comment. I read every comment and I appreciate what you agree, what you don't agree, what your own list is. Also, at the end of the day, share it too. You can also check out my older videos. I have over 2,000. It comes from breakdowns of legend players, rookies, and also summer league covers, summer league breakdowns, free agency talks, trade deadline, discussions of the hottest topics, and even just like this, top 10 lists, top 5 lists, season previews, and also playoff predictions. Also, if you like that, feel free to check those out. Not only that, you can also continue to watch. Other than that, Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis signing out, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Enjoy your day.